Hello everyone and welcome to Life Transformation UK. My name is Ben and today I'd like to talk to you about how you can go about beating a negative mindset. Now, the subject of mindset is one of the most popular areas of self-improvement because, in my opinion, it's a much more simple thing to fix rather than other areas where it will require taking often physical action to change whatever the circumstances are in your life. But when it comes to mindset, that is something which you can work on. Though it is in an active way, it's not so much physically active as it is a mentally active task to adjust your mindset. For example, whilst it can take a very long time to build up your body to the place where you want it to be in terms of your physical fitness, body composition and things like that, general health and well-being, it is a much quicker fix to adjust your mindset and start getting yourself into more healthy and for lack of a better way to put it, positive frames of mind to actually go out there and achieve your goals. Now, what I should always say is that mindset will always be secondary to taking action, and if you're not taking action, no amount of strong or positive mindsets is going to get you towards what your actual goals are in life, unless your only goal is to have a positive mindset, in which case you don't really have to do much about it, just change the way that you think. But changing your mindset is only a very, very small part of a much grander mission for each and every one of us. And today we're going to be focusing primarily on how you can go about beating a negative mindset, and I also want to challenge the idea of a negative and positive mindset as well, to hopefully give you new ways of thinking about them so that you don't find yourself trapped in these boxes of either being in a positive state or in a negative state, because there is a neutral way to be in both where it benefits you. So the best way to view a negative mindset, the best way to actually beat it overall, is to reframe the entire concept, and that's what I'm going to be talking about in this particular video. Because one of the main issues with a negative mindset are the negative connotations surrounding it. When you have somebody that's being negative, this is very much viewed as a bad thing, and that you shouldn't really associate with this person, you shouldn't really associate with that type of behaviour, whether it is in others or if it's in yourself. And I personally think that this is a very reductive way of looking at negative thinking. In my opinion, negative thinking really is all about protecting yourself, whereas positive thinking is often more geared towards potentially taking risks. So when it comes to negative thinking and you're trying to avoid risks by thinking, oh well, that will never work, or this might happen or that might happen, it's not necessarily a bad thing. And here's the reason why. Negative thinking forces you to think about what could possibly go wrong. And you may be wondering, well, why on earth is that a good thing? Why would I want to be in that type of cycle of thoughts? And I would agree with you. If it is a habitual, obsessive cycle of thoughts of, well, what will happen if this happens? What will happen if that happens? And what if this and what if that? Then you don't want to be trapped in that kind of cycle forever. But negative thinking is an extremely useful tool. Think about it this way. If you set a goal to build a business and you want to be financially free by the end of the year, obviously the first thing that you have to do is actually plan out how you're going to be doing that. But along the way, no matter what your plan is, no matter how well laid out it is, a small part of it is going to fail, or a large part is going to fail, or the entire plan itself might fail. And if you just have that one plan, then you're going to find it very, very difficult to reach that eventual goal. And that is where negative thinking comes in, because at the very, very beginning of the planning process, you can start to think to yourself, well, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this step from step 1 to step 10, that's going to get me to my goal. And then you can start thinking about, okay, with step 1, what could possibly derail me between there and step 2? And once you have an idea of some of the most likely things that could take you off of that path, then you can start to plan for them. So let's say, for example, if you are building a business and one of your main worries is that you might not make enough from the business to run it and also financially support your life. So one of the things that you can do is perhaps get a second job to work alongside of it while you're getting yourself into a more financially healthy place. You see, in no way is negative thinking on the face of it a bad thing for you to be experiencing, because it is giving you a golden opportunity to plan for the worst. And once you have planned for the worst, there's not a whole lot that can happen that will derail you off of your progress, because you will know what it is that you have to do when those things occur. Now, where the danger lies is in making it an obsession. You should plan to the best of your ability, but don't expect your plans to be perfect no matter how many negative scenarios you've worked in for yourself. If you're constantly thinking, well, if I do this, what happens if this goes wrong? What happens if this goes wrong? And if you're doing that for every single tiny variable, you are going to absolutely paralyze yourself by having to overanalyze everything. Being an overanalyzer is not necessarily a good thing when it comes to your personal self-improvement journey. So negative thinking is in fact an extremely powerful tool that allows you to kind of prognosticate out into the future what could possibly go wrong and how you're going to deal with it, how you're going to respond and react. And then once you have got that down, and again, I only mean that you should be planning for kind of the big things that could go wrong, because the little things that you might not really expect and they might not be worthwhile setting out a detailed action plan around, don't worry too much about it. The big things that you know are highly likely to happen that could take you off of the path entirely, use your negative thinking to identify those things and then work on making sure that if they do happen, you're not going to be derailed, your progress isn't going to be taken away, you're not going to ruin your momentum. Now, most people will say that the correct response to a negative mindset is a positive mindset, and again, I don't necessarily think that that's the case. I think you need to have a kind of neutral approach to both, where they are both useful tools, but you don't want to obsess with either one or the other. Negative thinking I've already gone into. You definitely don't want to bog yourself down with constant what-ifing about whatever it is that you're going after at the time. But you also don't want to become obsessively positive about life, because you still need to plan for things that go wrong. So if you are too much in the obsession of negative thinking, then you're going to absolutely paralyze yourself and you're not going to be able to move forward. But on the other hand, if you're too obsessively positive, then you're not even considering the possibility of failure and mistakes and disappointments and setbacks, and you're just going to push on through, and the worst could happen. And if you're not ready for the worst to happen, then you can say goodbye to your progress and your momentum, and quite possibly the possibility of actually achieving your goals in life. And that is obviously not what we want at all. So the ideal mindset, at least in my opinion, to have when it comes to negative thinking and positive thinking, it's not being pessimistic or optimistic, it's not being either one of those, it's having a neutral approach to both, expecting that the worst is going to happen and plan for it, and then hoping that the best is going to occur and being pleasantly surprised when it does, because as you will likely know, life hardly ever goes exactly to plan, and that's just the way that things are, and you have to be prepared for that, and you have to be prepared to react and respond in the right ways, and that's where planning comes in. And after that, all you can do is hope that things don't go as badly wrong as you have planned them to go. Remember that positive thinking can be just as dangerous as negative thinking. For myself, I've spoken in the past about how positive thinking almost completely ruined my life, and for a short time it even ruined a lot of my relationship with friends and family, because I was just working under the assumption that it was their negative energy that was bringing me down and I just need to stay positive and everything would work out for me, and it just does not work like that. Life does not work like that. There is, as far as I know, no universal force that is going to weigh up how negative you have been compared to how positive you've been, and if you've been more positive then the things you want will be attracted to you, and if you have been more negative then they'll be repelled, and that's just not the way that the world works, not the way that the universe works, at least that is in my opinion. But just remember that, as with everything else when it comes to self-improvement, mindset, setting goals, positive and negative thinking, it is all just tools that we are using to get ourselves from where we are right now to where we want to be, where we're building our dream lives and we're doing the things that we want to do in life. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. If you have done, make sure to leave a like and a comment as well, letting me know what it is that you're going to be doing today to transform your life. And while you're down there, why not subscribe to the channel as well? But otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video very soon.